There we go.
Wow.
So,
welcome,
everybody. This is the final day of the Bananas About Straightness Challenge. Yeah, go ahead and check in the chat if you have any questions, because we can still answer some questions. We can do it in the Q&A. Is better to put them in the Q&A if you can find that. If you're on YouTube, just put them straight into the comments and I will be checking as we go on my phone. So we'll get started in just a moment. Let's let everybody file in. We got started just a minute late today. Well, more than 1 minute. We're in Portuguese time. It's a joke.
Yeah. Kristen Adams says, didn't get to film homework 3, but wanted to send a thank you. Super hard for us to turn that shoulder onto the vaulters, but a great exercise.
Oh.
It's a good test, whether you're losing the outside shoulder in the leg yield. Same with the shoulder in. Some horses just sort of, run along the wall if you do it along the long side. And they can sort of fake it, and you don't know if they're really on the outside aids, on the outside rein, unless you test it, right? Unless you try to turn away from the wall. That's why it's always a good idea to right shoulder in and then turn 90 degrees or ride a volte or something. And with a leg yield, it's similar.
Yeah.
So it's a good test. And then, if it's hard, that's something that needs work, something that will be good for the horse. It'll straighten the horse more. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, did anybody else ride it? I saw a couple of people posted videos. How did everybody else get along with the exercise? How did you like it?
Or if you came late into the challenge, did you ride the first exercise? Let us know. And I think we'll go ahead and get started. So let's come here. Here we go. I think this is the right one. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. And yes, we are present. So here we are. This is, I'm calling it training 4. It's not really a training, but I didn't know what else to call it. It's our 4th live training. Yeah, to announce the scholarship. So who will be the winner of the 2025 Straightness course scholarship? Will it be you? Let's find out. So I'm going to review just a little bit. And most of you have been through all of this, but just real quick, we are on the final day of this. If you missed the others, you can go back and watch them. The recordings are available until the 26th. That's this Saturday, so you have time to watch them. They're available both on YouTube and in the course platform until then. So if you missed any or you want to watch them again, go right ahead. This is your chance. And so for a recap, training 1, we covered straightness, crookedness, and the figure 8 riding exercise. In training 2, we talked about the interconnection between rider's crookedness and the horse's crookedness, plus your homework was a Feldenkrais lesson from CATHERINE MCCRUM. And in training 3, we talked about assessing crookedness. We reviewed the videos that some of you submitted of yourselves writing the exercise from training 1. And then we taught an additional exercise, the leg yield interrupted with voltas. And so that's what we were asking about. Did any of you get to ride that exercise? But today we are here to announce the winner of the scholarship. So we are giving one very lucky participant full scholarship into our 2025 Straightness course. The selection process is based on attendance in the live trainings, your engagement, participation, and contribution to the discussions in the Facebook group. This decision was achieved through the consensus of our team. They met today and decided the winner. So who might it be? Well, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the straightness course first, so you know what it is that we're talking about. This is a course that we introduced in 2018. It is our most popular, most run course, and we are only offering it once this year. So what is the straightness course? It's the straightest path to straightness. I couldn't help myself. So it is an 18-week course about achieving straightness as a horse and rider unit. So the two of you together working on your straightness and the horse's straightness together. We go over the fundamental biomechanics of straightness and how straightness and crookedness impacts everything else you do in riding. There's exercises, some are on the ground, some are under saddle. Almost everything was designed to be ridden, though. This is a course done in the saddle, so you don't have to stay on the ground doing just groundwork in this course. So, yeah, you don't need to postpone your riding for a year while you go through this course just to achieve straightness. So you will learn. Do you want to go over this? You go over some of this.
Quickly, yeah. So, biomechanics theory, right? It's easier to straighten the horse if you understand how crookedness and straightness work, how different things influence each other. Then it's quicker and easier to find the root cause of problems you encounter. And pretty much every training problem you encounter has a straightness aspect to it. So you're basically dealing with crookedness and straightness every day with every horse, no exception. Strategy, of course, if you understand how crookedness and straightness work, you can make a strategy of how to straighten your crooked horse. Because every horse is asymmetrical, every rider is asymmetrical, and somehow together we need to be able to be functionally straight, exactly, so that we can turn left and right equally well and sidestep left and right and so on and so forth. Everything you do in one direction, you should be able to do in the other direction as well. And of course, there's always an easy side and a hard side and so on, but we like to make the two sides as similar as we can, in spite of the asymmetries. Lateral movements play a big role in straightening, of course. That supples the hips and supples the hind legs. Turning supples the shoulders, so you'll always be doing combinations of turning, bending, sidestepping, and so on to create this even suppleness in both directions.
We should just mention you don't have to have all of your lateral movements down pat to take this course. Actually, you just have to be willing to try them. Be willing to try leg yield and shoulder in. If you haven't done the others, no problem. You're going to learn them.
Yeah. And even if you don't do them perfectly, they still have a positive effect on the horse.
Yeah,
they
exactly.
still help gymnastically.
And in fact, by working on straightness, your lateral movements will improve.
Right, exactly.
And the lateral movements improve your straightness.
Exactly.
It's the chicken and the egg situation, right?
Exactly. And by explaining the cause and effect of crookedness and straightness, we help you troubleshoot.
Yeah.
So if you're wondering why your horse is so heavy on one rein and very light on the other, that's a straightness issue we'll explain to you.
Or why is something transitioning from one part of the exercise to another is so difficult. We can help you troubleshoot that and understand it so that then when you see this sort of thing pop up in other times, you understand where it's coming from and you understand what to do about it.
Exactly. To solve resistances, that has to do with troubleshooting also. You feel a resistance somewhere in the horse's body. We help you figure out where that comes from, why the horse is bracing and resisting in that part of the body, and we'll help you dissolve these resistances. Of course, the more resistances you can dissolve, the more through the horse becomes, the softer, the lighter, the rounder, and the straighter he becomes. So removing resistances makes the horse straighter. And and straightening the horse resolves resistances.
Right.
It's, again, chicken and egg.
Yeah.
Bending plays a big role because as a result of crookedness, the horse can bend sort of in one direction, but maybe not in the other.
Right. If you find that one direction is difficult to bend your horse, this is going to help you even make this more even.
Yeah, exactly. Balance plays a big role. Front to back balance has to do with the steadiness of the rhythm and the tempo, and straightness has to do with the lateral balance, the left to right weight distribution, because horses like to lean on one side of the body, one front leg especially, and that affects the ability to bend and to turn and to sidestep and everything else, and throughness and the ability to be on the bit and so on. So straightness, straightening the horse improves the balance, right? And then improving the balance improves the lightness, the throughness, the rein contact, the suppleness, and the ability to perform advanced movements and so on. Yeah, so we give you riding exercises that help you diagnose the crookedness and that help you improve the straightness. Every exercise, every movement has a diagnostic aspect and a therapeutic aspect, right? On the one hand, it shows you very quickly which part of the body may be stiff or what the horse hasn't understood yet, what kind of skills he's lacking. But at the same time, it mobilizes that body part that it addresses. And if that body part happens to be stiff, riding the exercise will loosen up that area of the body. And then once you've discovered something, that the horse is stiff in the hips or stiff in the shoulders, you can think of additional exercises that address that area of the body and loosen it up, supple it, so that bending, turning, sidestepping, and so on becomes easier, or transitions become easier. Understand the method. So it's another aspect of the theory, how do you get from crooked to straight? How do you analyze the horse's crookedness, and how do you, proceed with reducing the asymmetry and improving the straightness?
And also, how does straightness impact everything else you do? And so how is it connected to your contact and connection, your, throughness, your impulsion, all of these things? It's connected to everything else. And so when you improve your straightness, everything else improves as well.
Yeah, special movements. Well, we use some old movements like the full pass, the plié, pirouette renversée, and so on, that you may or may not have come across. Like the full pass is not a very common thing to practice in dressage. Western riders, working equitation riders know it. They have to show it.
Side pass.
Side pass, exactly. But dressage riders don't usually do it.
Yeah.
Plié is a canter shoulder in, basically, or canter leg yield, from on a diagonal. Things like that. So we use them to help straighten the horse, and don't be surprised, or don't be shocked when you see those. It's
intimidated. They're fun.
It's all doable. Yeah.
Really fun to experience and play with new things.
Yeah.
And you'll find they're really useful and really they become tools. And the more tools you have in the toolbox, your training toolbox, the more solutions you have. So you're not always trying to just use one hammer for every possible problem, but you have many different tools.
Well, every building blocks here, every movement, every exercise has a certain gymnastic function or a gymnastic purpose, and they can become stepping stones. So if you string a number of movements, turns, transitions, and so on together in a logical sequence, they form a little staircase of small learning steps that lead somewhere, right? And lead to better body awareness, better balance, better coordination, better understanding in the horse. And if you build this staircase logically, the horse understands what you're doing, and then very often they can kind of anticipate the next thing. Or at the end of that little staircase, they think, oh, now it would make sense to do such and such a thing. So you can lead the horse to a conclusion and the horse makes it himself and offers it maybe, or it's very easy then to prompt the horse to do that, whatever you want to do at the end. And it teaches the horse the skills in small increments and small steps. So it's you set the horse up for success. The horse doesn't get overwhelmed, doesn't get intimidated. Like in traditional teaching, often teachers would tell the student, okay, now canter across a diagonal and now do a flying change without any preparation, right? And then of course it's just a disaster waiting to happen. Exactly. And so we don't do that. We try to lead the horse on this learning journey, giving him the skills, the suppleness, the strength, the coordination, the balance, and the straightness that he needs to do whatever we're trying to
so that
ride.
he can do it, so that he believes he can do it, and so that not only that, but it's easy. So he has everything in place to do it.
Yeah.
And when he encounters the new thing, it's easy. And so they don't develop a bad association with it. So many times horses are thrown into, for example, the flying changes for the first time. They're just tossed into it, and then it doesn't go well. So the rider repeats it. The trainer says, do it again, you know, and do it again, do it again, and make him do it. And you know, smack him with the whip and make him change. And of course, in a very short amount of time, the horse develops intense anxiety about this movement, and undoing this anxiety in the training can take years. So when you set the horse up this way, you completely eliminate all of this.
Yeah, exactly. So you can always remember every movement that you ride builds on what you did before. So you have to put a little thought into what you're doing too, into the sequence. Like there are certain sequences that make sense and others that don't make sense, right? So you choose the next movement based on what you did before. When you have something a little bit longer term in mind, you have to think, okay, how do I get from here to there? What exercises, movements would teach the horse the skills that he needs? And then so, you know, in that way, the next movement is builds on what you just did, and you know, the exercise you just did was based on what you did before, right? And then it prepares the next step. And when you do anything, you know, you run into crookedness issues all the time. Like the horse may canter on one rein reliably on one lead, but maybe not so much on the other. Maybe on the other lead it's hit or miss. Sometimes you get the correct lead, sometimes you get a cross canter or a counter canter, or the leg yield may work okay in one direction, but not at all in the other. Half pass, the same thing. Maybe you can do a half pass to the right, but to the left you can only ride a leg yield because the horse doesn't bend. Or flying change may be reliable in one direction and mostly late in the other direction, or he doesn't do anything if you ask for the flying change. These are all crookedness issues. Or the horse can bend to the right, but he doesn't bend on a circle to the left. He looks to the outside, or he's always leaning on your right rein and light on the left. You know, so these are all crookedness issues. They show up in everything you do, right? And by using exercises, movements, transitions as these stepping stones, these building blocks, you can teach the horse the skills that he needs to be able to bend on a circle left as well as on a circle right, or to have a light, steady, even rein contact on both reins, or to do the leg yield equally well left and right, or to do a half pass in both directions and not half pass in one direction and leg yield in the other, right? So every moment of every ride you feel the asymmetry if you pay attention, right? And so with this systematic approach of diagnosing which hind leg is escaping, which hind leg is only pushing, and so on, and then choosing the suitable exercises, you can develop the ambidexterity in the horse, essentially. And accuracy plays an important role.
And of course, it will improve your accuracy.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I mean, if your horse is crooked, your circles won't be round, or one circle in one direction, the circle will be smaller, in the other direction, it will be larger, right?
Yeah.
But by working on the accuracy, you improve the straightness, and the straighter the horse is, the easier it is to ride round circles or straight lines. Like straight lines have to be straight, circles have to be round. Sounds easy, but it's actually difficult to do, right? And they have to be the same size in both directions. And if you ride a quarter line, you need to have the same distance from the long side at the beginning, in the middle, and at the end of your quarter line. And in reality, horses like to drift a little bit, usually a little bit closer to the wall, because it has a bit of an magnetic effect.
Yeah.
So accurate arena patterns play a really important role in developing the horse's straightness. And straightness and throughness are connected. If the horse is unbalanced, and crookedness is a form of unbalance, then the horse won't be through. A lot of horses go above the bit, and they drop the back when they're slightly crooked. As you straighten the horse will lift the back and stretch the top line, release the paw, and he'll become softer, rounder, more through. Of course, the more through the horse is, or the more supple the horse is, the easier he is to align correctly on the line of travel and to make him straight. But the more supple and straight he is, the easier it is, to get throughness.
And the more power and impulsion you'll have.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Often the crookedness becomes these places where the energy leaks out. And the lazy horse is often just a really stiff and crooked horse. And when we eliminate this, you can access the energy that is in the horse much better without all the nagging.
Very true. Yeah, impulsion, collection are unthinkable without suppleness and straightness. Suppleness is unthinkable without straightness, really.
Yeah, so just briefly go through this. So we cover the biomechanics theory. This is all based on biomechanics and all done with gymnastic exercises to train the horse gymnastically. We have instructional videos throughout the course teaching you how to ride the exercises. There are also demo videos, rider demo videos showing the exercise being ridden by a number of riders with our commentary over it, so you can see it being ridden and see possible problems or mistakes, and then we talk about how to fix those. This course also comes with a community. There's a very lively, amazing Facebook group that comes with this course. All of the alumni are in there, so many of them have been through the course multiple times, so they're going to be in there taking you along with them energetically. And throughout the 18 weeks of this course, there are bi-weekly Q&A coaching sessions. So that's every other week. There's a live Q&A at a variety of times. If you can't make it live, you can always pre-post your question and we can answer it live. If you could also just show up. If you have a question you think of while we're there on the Q&A, you can ask it right then and there. That's absolutely fine. You have lifetime access to the material so that it never goes away. When the course is over at the end of the 18 weeks, you keep all of it. You can go through all of the materials as many times as you want. You keep access to the Facebook group too, so you can always post in there, even when the course is not actively running. You can always post in there, get some more feedback, and help talk with your fellow classmates and share your progress. Also, as part of alumni, whenever we rerun the course, you can upgrade to that course for, right now, we just do €25 admin fee to upgrade. So it's a super good deal because you get all the Q&As, you get everything, any additional updates that we make to the course, you get. There are, like I said, rider demo videos. There's Feldenkrais lessons, as you experienced with Catherine. Hopefully you did the Feldenkrais lesson on day 2. If you didn't, you should go and do that. There are Feldenkrais lessons throughout the course. We also have curated yoga lessons. These are yoga lessons from online people on YouTube. Usually Yoga with Adrian, but there's a few others. Catherine and I went through and chose some that we really liked that complement the course material really well.
Mhm.
And we also have rider imagery lessons. We didn't do any of that in this challenge. These are imagery lessons where we take for example, this picture you have here is the carousel horse. It helps to keep you upright. You imagine you are the pole on a carousel horse, and you're not leaning forward, going back. You're not leaning right or left. You're staying right in the center. Things like that. If you are a visual learner, these things can be really helpful. Every module is broken down into the step-by-step instruction and exercises, so that there's nothing that feels like you're just thrown in. And if you are, we're here to help all along the way. Let's see here. So straightness is one of the most important things in our training, as we've been talking about. And straightness impacts and affects everything else you do. It's really about improving everything, all the components. Our 2025 course begins on Friday. That's this Friday, July 25th. And this is the only time we're running the course this year. If you're not sure, we do offer a 30-day refund period, so you can enroll in the course, try it out, see if you like it. If you don't, just let us know. Email us within that 30 days and we'll give you a full refund, no problem. And we have a whole bunch of bonuses with this course. So we have a whole bunch of modules on how to apply straightness concepts into the groundwork that you do. For example, work in hand, lunging, long reining, double lunging. All of these, you can apply the concepts into that work as well, and already help improve your horse's straightness. We also have a great bonus. This is improving straightness with body work. This is an interview and conversation with Yvonne Lupke. She talked about energetic grooming in this. And so that, if you want to know what that is, you're going to like this. We also have this great masterclass that taught by my friend here, Dr. Thomas Ritter, on rein lameness and what it actually is and how this is related to straightness. More bonuses. We have a Felden horse lesson taught by CATHERINE MCCRUM. This is Feldenkrais done with the horse when you're on the ground, touching the horse. This is talking about what
I mean, it's an adaptation of Feldenkrais for people, because Feldenkrais has, on the one hand, exercises that you do,
movement lessons,
awareness through movement, but then they also do this functional integration where you're lying, on a mat or bed, whatever, and the Feldenkrais teacher then moves your bones essentially and connects them again. And you can do
reconnects the brain. It's really about the neurology, neurobiology of connecting the brain to the body again.
And Catherine and Charlotte Zetterberg, who's also a Feldenkrais teacher and writing teacher from Sweden. They both have kind of developed this Felden horse concept where you rock the horse a little bit, basically from one side to the other.
Rocking, they're not all, but
that plays a big role, and teaches the horse to feel his feet more and connect to the ground more, and it's a very gentle thing that you can do.
It's very quiet.
Exactly.
Work. It's really beyond what it does for improving your horse's body awareness. It's also a beautiful thing to do to improve and solidify the relationship you have with your horse. The horses almost always like it. Almost always. We also have another bonus. It's a little mini course called the Supple Ribs Bonus Course. And it's a little package with a master class, a riding exercise, and a Feldenkrais lesson, all about making the ribs supple for both horse and rider, which this has an important it's an important facet of straightness. If you're tense or tight in your ribs, you're never going to be really straight. And same for the horse. We also I've added the Intro to Stirrup Stepping Self-Study course. This is a whole course about stirrup stepping. Stirrup stepping we talked about a little bit within this challenge. It's a subtle weight aid that you give by applying a little bit of pressure in the stirrup. And we gave you in this little course a whole bunch of different simple patterns that you can try out that can do different things. And so you get the full explanation. There's 23 videos, 5 patterns, PDFs, audio files. It's a whole course. You get that as a bonus when you enroll in the Straightness course. You also get the challenge recordings. So all of these recordings from this challenge, you get the downloadable recordings. So you get to keep them forever if you want them. And as a full course member, because we also offer the self-study course, but as a full course member, you'll also get the Q&A group coaching package, which I talked about. This is Q&As, and then you get the recordings of them so you can watch them afterwards. You can download them, watch them as many times as you want. You can take part in the study pods if you like. It's optional, but highly recommended. And so these are little groups that become your study buddies throughout the course. If you're somebody who really thrives on interaction with others and or accountability, then this is your jam. You're gonna really like that. We also have the Straightness course podcast. This is all of the trainings, all of the recordings, everything from the course. It's put into a podcast that you can, with one click of the button, you can download to your phone and you can listen to it when you're driving, riding, even cleaning stalls, walking the dog, whatever it is that you like to do, washing dishes. You can listen to them. So you can, it's a great way to catch up on the Q&As or review the course materials. At the end of the course, you also get an ebook that has all of the exercises from the course, all in one easy downloadable ebook. There's also 8 masterclass recordings about rehabilitation, body work, intuition, work in hand, the role of tempo and speed on the horse's soundness. These are, and also the full pass and the half halt. So it's a whole bunch of little masterclass recordings that I think you'll find really interesting if you haven't gotten these before, as another bonus, because we were giving them with some other courses at one point. We're not anymore, only with this course. But if you had gotten them before, then you've probably already watched them. But if you haven't, you're going to really enjoy these. And at the end of the course, you get a completion certificate with your name on it. So we have 3 options, actually 4 options for enrollment in the course for this year. You can pay in full. That is the best deal. It's $497. That includes everything I just talked about. Also, on the 2 payment plans, we have a 3 pay, that's 3 monthly payments of $175, or 12 monthly payments of $47. You also get all of that. And this is also in other currencies too. I'm saying in euros, but it's also offered in all the other currencies too. You could just, when I give you the link, just click on it and you can go review all of that. There's also a self-study option. It doesn't have all of the bonuses. It does include the podcast. It includes the full course. It does include the podcast, the exercises ebook, and the completion certificate at the end. And it does not include the challenge recordings, the supple ribs course, or the stirrup stepping course, but it includes the masterclass recordings and the bonuses on work in hand and long reining and lunging and all of those. And you do get a discounted upgrade for the next Straightness course. So you can upgrade for the next full course if you want to. There's no Q&As with that and no feedback on your videos in the Facebook group. But that is an option. That's $297 for pay in full or 12 payments of $37. The course starts this Friday, so there's only a couple days left. It is now Tuesday, so we only have a few days before we start. I hope we see you in the course. So now let's get to this. The winner of our scholarship is, are you ready? I see there's some questions in the chat and so on. We'll get to that in just a minute, but are you guys ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Okay, here we go. Alia Francesca Canepa? I'm not sure. She says she's in the Dominican Republic. Yeah, an expat, a US expat. Yes. So congratulations. You showed up. You were so encouraging, and you showed up in the Facebook group, posting your progress, giving your results with the Feldenkrais, the writing exercise, your notes, everything. your enthusiasm. The whole team loved you. So you're not the only one, though. There were some others that we really loved. They had a hard time making a decision. So I'm really sorry for those of you who did not win. We appreciate all of your effort. Your effort is seen and appreciated. So thank you, everybody. But congratulations, Alia, and we'll see you in the course. So all you have to do is just email our team and they'll get you set up. Okay. So here we go. This is it. This is your time to enroll in the Straightness course. We would love to have you in there. I'm going to stop this share now and grab the link and put it in. Yep. Hold on just a minute. It takes me a minute. I should have had this already, and I didn't. So I will put the link right in here. It is also available on our website. Just go to artisticdressage.com and you will find it right there on the front page. It's also in the store. If you just go to the store, click on the store. Anytime you're logged into the course platform, just go to the store. And right there, easy. You're also getting our emails, right? So you're also getting emails about this. Just click the link in the email. You can also just email our friends, our team, which are also our friends. You can also just email them and they'll give you the link. They'll give you any information you need. If you're looking for an upgrade link, if you had the self-study version before and you want to upgrade to the full version, we've got a link for you, a special link to upgrade for a reduced fee. Just email our team. They'll get that to you. Also, if you're an alumni and you want to upgrade, it's just 25 euros. Just email the team and they'll get you that link. No problem. Okay.
Yes, pronounce my name in whatever way suits you. I'm accustomed to it. I'm sure.
You're the same, right? Shana, but people say Shana and Shana and Sheena and Shana and everything. I've had in high school. I had a teacher tell me that my name was wrong. Sheena, yeah, everything. Yeah. Shayana, which I mean, it's all fine. I'm the same as you. It's all fine. Really exciting, I think. Anna, how is the schedule?
Well, you can study at your own pace.
Yeah.
That's a nice thing.
So there was also a question in the Q&A that I will get to. If you click on the link, there is a schedule on there. Scroll down to the FAQ. There's a schedule with the course module releases that we have a break every few weeks so that you have time to assimilate, to catch up, because life happens, right? You have time to catch up, and the Q&A schedule is also on there, so you can already see it and see if it works for you. But like I said, we vary the times so that somebody you can always make some of them. And even if you can't make any of them live, you can participate in all of them. You can pre-post your questions. We will answer them live. And then you can always watch the recordings whenever it suits you.
Yeah. And you have lifelong access, so you don't need to keep up with the speed of the publication of the module.
Yeah, great point.
You can go as fast or as slow as you like.
Yes, if you or your horse need to go at a slower pace, no worries. You need to go at the pace that you need to go at, and we're going to support you in that. So go slower. It's okay. You can take your time. The Facebook group is going to be there. We're going to be there. It's just we're not continuing to produce more content longer than 18 weeks. There was a question in the Q&A. So in the course, how many writing sessions per week are ideal to keep up with the course, implementing the exercises? Each module has several writing exercises. You're going to find that some of them you like doing more than others. You're going to find that you pick and choose. I would say you want to try to write at least 3 times a week.
Exactly.
But a lot of our course members, they also do a lot of trail riding, and they'll maybe do a few minutes in the arena and then they go out on trail, or they take some of it and try to modify it. There's some of them that you can modify actually to riding on the trail, believe it or not. And so that's really fun. You know, there's a lot of creativity within this. Take the elements and apply them to your situation. If you're not sure how to do that, we can help you with that. We're in full support of doing that. Okay, let's answer anything in here.
C marks.
Yes.
That was the first one. She said, I hadn't ridden since doing the first exercise last week, but rode my horse today and was very pleased to find how flexible and steerable she was, both in repeating the first exercise in walk and trot and in doing the second one. That's good. That's good news. Excellent. And then Margot Pena says, didn't get to post my videos to Facebook yet, but really love both exercises. The beginning of both were rough, but a few rounds through and it got better each time. I'm happiest to share that at the end of each exercise, he halted very squarely. This is my litmus test for a rides, because he's so hollowed to the right that he never voluntarily halts square unless the work written or in hand has been really solid that day. Yeah, the square halt is sort of a byproduct of straightness, right? The straighter the horse becomes, the better they will halt square, and you know, you don't have to correct the whole lot anymore.
Right.
So no, but that's good news. It's a good outcome, right? And it happens that, you know, first time you try an exercise, it's not pretty because maybe it's new, it's something the horse has never done, maybe it surprises the horse, or it shows that there is a bit of a lack of body awareness on the horse's part, lack of groundedness, but the exercise improves those things, right? So after you've done 2 or 3 attempts, you see a significant improvement because now the horse is starting to feel where his feet are. He's starting to feel where he needs to support himself, where the weight needs to be. So you can see a drastic improvement sometimes within 3 repetitions of an exercise. It's sometimes pretty remarkable, you know, how quickly the horses can improve, you know, drastically. Melanie says, wrote the second exercise, it really confirmed how stiff my horse and me are on the left. The leg yield in that direction was pretty sticky. The volte was easier, but did fine. When I went straight and trot afterwards, it did go better.
That's it.
That's the test. Yeah. That's why I like to go straight, whole school, big circle, single track, just to evaluate. That gives the horse a time to think, and it gives the horse a time to feel into his own body, because you change the balance, you change the way the body feels. Now I think that the horse needs a little time to take the body for a spin, you know, and test drive, like a mechanic who fixes something in a car and has to drive around the block to see if it runs better.
You get to feel the effect that the exercise had on the horse, right? Every exercise has an effect, and you get to really feel it when you do something really simple, like just ride around the arena or ride on a 20-meter circle. You get to really feel it. In
lessons, I would always ask riders after, you know, we did an exercise and then went straight. I would ask them, so does the horse feel better or worse or the same as before, compared to before the exercise? Like, did the exercise make him better? Did they make him worse? Or is there no change? And very often the exercise itself was a little rough, not so pretty, but afterwards the horse is clearly better, more through, rounder, easier to sit, softer, you know, whatever, you know. And so it obviously had a beneficial effect, even though, you know, it wasn't perfect yet. But, you know, if you keep practicing it, it will improve. Eventually the exercise itself will feel good and look good. But even when it's not perfect, it will very often have a beneficial effect on the balance, the gait, the suppleness, and so on. Kristen says, I need the course to help with straightness versus shoulder control. Don't know whether for a stiff horse first you have to ignore the falling out or what. Well, don't ignore it, register it. I mean, you can't fix everything at once, right? Sometimes you have to decide on an order of priorities. Like, what's the most important thing right now to address, right?
But the shoulders are really important.
Shoulders play a big role, yes. Arches play a big role.
But that's what you'll learn how to be able to control, of course. Yeah, so join us.
Melanie says, thanks so much for this intro to straightness. So generous of you to share your knowledge this way. I've learned lots and now much more aware of what is happening on the saddle and where all my gaps are with my horse. The exercises now make sense to me about what they help with.
Awesome.
That's a really important piece of the puzzle.
Yes.
Oh, Denisa, Olivkova says so true. Thank you for this intro.
You're welcome.
Terry loves the Feldenkrais lessons.
Yes.
Morgan says, I love that you're including yoga with Adrienne. I'm a yoga therapist, and often for my clients do videos once they graduate from my therapy sessions. That's funny. That's cool.
That's cool that you use yoga for therapy. Really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Kristen says, how many weeks or months does the course run for?
It's an 18-week course, and that includes the break weeks. The full schedule, the release schedule is on the sales page. In fact, I can find it. We could even share the screen with that. I have to, I can share that. Let's go back and share the screen. There we go. Okay, so here I have the module release schedule. Let me see if I can even make this bigger.
So July 25th until November 27th.
Yes.
Basically for the rest of the year.
And so you see there's pretty much until Christmas, and then you're busy with Christmas, right? Or maybe you're not. Maybe you're not. Well, not everyone does Thanksgiving. Not everyone. Not everyone. This is in the US. Yeah, so we have, as you see here, it's 2 weeks with a module release and then 1 week with a break, and that repeats over and over and over until we're done. And we've found that that is a really good rhythm so that everyone has time to catch up if they've fallen a little bit behind, or they just want time. Sometimes you just need time to review the previous modules again and review what you're doing to try the exercises more before you get more exercises. And of course, it doesn't mean you stop doing all the other things that you do. You know, if you jump, you continue jumping. In fact, it's a great assessment. If whatever else you do, you continue to do, you just incorporate this in with your work. The other work that you're doing. And for those that were wondering about the Q&A schedule, here are the Q&As. So they're approximately every 2 weeks. Occasionally a session has to be rescheduled, and we always announce by email and in the Facebook group so that you get to know when that happens. In fact, it's also done, you get an email from Zoom. So what we encourage you to do is register for the Q&As at the beginning when you sign up for the course, and then that way you'll get an alert when a Q&A is rescheduled. You'll get an alert from Zoom that it's at a different time. So I'm going to stop the share. I can't find my mouse. There it is. Okay, there we go. And so
we did those.
Yes.
So Julia Morania says, I love that you take a holistic approach to your training. Thank you. Yeah. Seems to work. Seems to be a good idea.
Works for us. It makes sense. I mean, gosh. Yeah. Terry said great bonuses. Stirrup stepping is magic. Yes, it's awesome. And Kristen said the ribs one interests me. Yeah, it's a great little course. It's really cool. People don't realize how important the ribs and being supple in the ribs is. Just alert the time. You have to start teaching in 5 minutes.
Yeah. Denise says, is it necessary to follow the course day by day? I have no opportunity to ride in a hall or somewhere with a roof. So it could happen that I will not be able to work a horse for a week because of weather.
Happens to everyone. It's really normal.
It's fine.
It's all of the materials are recorded already. So it's not like you have to show up at a certain time and watch the live like we did in the challenge. It's all recorded. The only thing that is live is the Q&A. So it really works better for most people's schedule. Terry said, we're friendly. You guys, you're my friends. My friends.
And if you feel like you don't have time to do all the exercises, before the next module comes up, just pick and choose what looks interesting or doable or, what looks inviting, and do that. And you can put other exercises on the back burner and come back to them later when you have time, because you have access to the materials forever. So you don't need to, there's no fear of missing out, right? You just do what you can fit into the schedule and what looks interesting or what seems helpful. Maybe some things look like, well, that's not really going to help my horse at the moment, but this looks interesting. This looks like it might solve the problem I have. And so start with those. Start with the ones that look for some reason interesting or promising, or where you feel like, yes, this is what I need. And the rest you can always come back to later.
You can come back to later. We can help you modify something if you need to modify it for a special situation with your horse or whatever is happening. Maybe your arena is not level. This happens. And people need help with modifying, understanding how to modify it so that it's still effective and helpful. And so we can help you with all of that. We can help you find a different exercise, even if those didn't work or those are not what you and your horse need. He's so generous. He always comes up, well, why don't you try this instead? And do, he does this in the Q&As. He'll come up with something, or, as he's answering a question, he'll say, you could try this exercise where you do this and this and this, and then you add that in. And if you need then help with, can you give that to me again? Just post in the Facebook group and he can give you that exercise. Yeah. So the point is to find what works for you and your horse. And sometimes this means be a little creative.
Yeah, and you can make every exercise easier if you have a younger horse that's not so advanced yet. You can modify the exercise to match the horse's training level.
Yeah.
And you can spice them up and make them more difficult. If you have a Grand Prix horse, you feel like, oh, this is boring. We can make it interesting, even for the FI horse.
Yep, you can always make it more interesting.
Exactly, and you can adjust it to a younger horse, who can't do the more advanced lateral movements yet. It's always, there's many versions of the same exercise,
So Nathan Duganout, I'm not sure if that's how I say your name, said, did ride the first, but due to weather conditions could not ride for a couple of days. Riding multiple figure eights really made it improve. In walk, 10-meter volta went well. In trot, he needed a bigger circle to become comfortable in it. Canter was a little tricky with the change. Yeah.
Canter is a much higher level in a sense that there's, because you either have to do a counter canter volte or you have to do a simple change or flying change. It's all doable, but it's a big leap. The difference or in difficulty from walk to trot is much smaller than from trot to canter. So don't be surprised, and that's okay.
And Katri roosting, I'm not sure. Okay, she's from the Netherlands, so I'm not sure. Said I did training 1 and the Feldenkrais training 3 I do when I'm back from holiday. Yeah. So if you get back before Friday or by Friday, post in the Facebook group how it was, tag us so we know. And otherwise, if you join in the course, you can post the exercise in the course group. You can continue talking about the trainings and the challenge. It's fine. You could just jump right into there. Once you join the course, you could just jump into the Facebook group and start your discussions in there. Alia said, I'm so excited. Can I get a copy of the fancy page with my name on it? Absolutely. Absolutely. Just email them. Do you want it as a PDF or as a PNG? I can give you both. Just let me know. Just email me. Maria Bloman said, it's a very good course. Highly recommend it. I'm joining as an alumni to go through it for a 3rd time. I find that with each repetition, I learn even more. That's exactly it. Yeah, our alumni are great. They come back over and over and over. They love this course. Yeah, and what's cool is you can do it with new horses. When you get a new horse, it's fun to do the course again. But you can also redo the course with your horse that you did it with before, because you're going to discover new things. Some things that were hard before are much easier, and you just discover new things. It's like it's a new layer. It's like peeling an onion. You get to another layer, and it's fascinating.
And with the theoretical explanations, you may hear things that the second time but didn't hear the first time
Yes.
because maybe you weren't ready or maybe too overload of information.
Or you
And
just understand things on a different level or you're just ready for it. You know, sometimes we only hear it when we're really ready for that info.
Exactly.
And it could have been told to us 1,000 times
Yeah.
and you only hear it when you're really ready for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, Terry said exactly. We're Ritter addicts. I know. We have a lot of them. She says, yes, revisiting things. Lyra gives me that. We're doing this again. Look, God love her. Well, she's a mare. Mares are great. And with that, we're going to wrap it up today. If you have any questions, just post them in the Facebook group, and or if it's a question, a technical question, an admin question, a question about enrollment, or you have trouble enrolling, just email the team ritterdressage@gmail.com and they'll help you out. Bev Slack says, I second that. My daughter Alex loves this course. She will be rejoining. Awesome. And Margot Pena says, thank you both for sharing so much of your time and knowledge in this challenge. Learned lots and even just these few short days. I really appreciate your approach to teaching and training. Looking forward to joining the course. Thank you.
That's awesome. Welcome to the course.
Yes, welcome everybody. And I see enrollments coming in, so that's awesome.
Good.
Thank you, everybody.
Nice, thank you.
We'll see you in the course. And he has to go because he has to teach the Germans right now. So
Hot seat. Yeah.
bye, everyone.